Have you ever wondered about the place where a prince became the Buddha? Today, we're journeying to the heart of Bihar, India, to explore the sacred city of Bodh Gaya, a place that echoes with thousands of years of history and spiritual energy. This isn't just a dot on a map, it's the cradle of Buddhism, the very spot where human consciousness took a monumental leap. So, grab your virtual passport and let's unravel the incredible story of Bodh Gaya. Our story begins over 2,600 years ago with a young prince named Siddhartha Gautama. Born into a life of immense luxury in Lumbini, present-day Nepal, he was shielded from all the suffering of the world, but destiny had other plans. At the age of 29, he ventured outside his palace walls and for the first time, witnessed the harsh realities of life. An old man, a sick person, a decaying corpse, and finally, a peaceful ascetic. These encounters, known as the Four Sights, shook him to his core. He realized that wealth and comfort were fleeting, and that suffering was an inescapable part of human existence. Driven by a profound desire to find a way out of this universal suffering, Siddhartha renounced his princely life. He left his palace, his wife, and his newborn son in the dead of night, embarking on a quest for truth. For 6 long years, he wandered as an ascetic, studying with various teachers and practicing extreme self-mortification. He pushed his body to its absolute limits, believing that by punishing the flesh, he could liberate the spirit. He fasted until he was nothing but skin and bones. Yet the ultimate answer, the end of suffering, remained elusive. Realizing that this path of extreme denial was just as fruitless as his earlier life of extreme indulgence, he decided to find a middle way. He accepted a humble bowl of rice pudding from a village girl named Sujata, which revitalized his body. He then traveled to a peaceful grove on the bank of the Niranjana River, which we now know as Bodh Gaya. There, he sat beneath a peepal tree, which would later become famous as the Bodhi Tree, and made a powerful vow. He declared he would not rise from that spot until he had attained enlightenment, even if it meant his body withered away. As Siddhartha sat in deep meditation, he faced his final and greatest challenge. Mara, the personification of temptation and evil, launched a full-scale assault to distract him. Mara paraded his beautiful daughters to seduce him, sent armies of demons to frighten him, and offered him dominion over the entire world. But Siddhartha remained unmoved, his concentration unbreakable. He touched the earth with his right hand, calling upon it to witness his long journey and his right to enlightenment. The earth itself is said to have trembled in acknowledgement. At that moment, as the morning star rose in the sky, Siddhartha Gautama pierced through the veils of ignorance. He saw the nature of existence, the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, and the path to liberation. He had become the Buddha, the awakened one. He was just 35 years old. For the next 7 weeks, the Buddha remained in the vicinity of the Bodhi tree, absorbing the profundity of his realization. Each week was spent at a different location in Bodh Gaya, contemplating various aspects of the truths he had discovered. These 7 spots are now marked in our important pilgrimage sites within the temple complex. It was here that he formulated the core of his teachings: the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path, a practical guide to end suffering and achieve nirvana. After this period of contemplation, he journeyed to Sarnath, near Varanasi, to deliver his first sermon, setting in motion the wheel of Dharma. Bodh Gaya didn't immediately become a grand center. For a couple of centuries, it remained a simple, sacred grove, revered by the small but growing community of the Buddha's followers. The real transformation began in the 3rd century BCE, with the great Mauryan emperor, initially a ruthless conqueror. Ashoka converted to Buddhism after witnessing the horrific bloodshed of the Kalinga War. This conversion changed him, and he dedicated his life to spreading the Buddha's message of peace and nonviolence. Ashoka made a pilgrimage to Bodh Gaya around 260 BCE. Deeply moved by the sight, he is credited with building the first temple next to the Bodhi tree. He also erected one of his famous pillars, though only fragments remain today. More importantly, he built a stone railing, a Vajrasana or diamond throne, to mark the exact spot of enlightenment. Ashoka's patronage elevated Bodh Gaya from a simple grove to a major center of pilgrimage. He also sent a sapling of the original Bodhi tree with his daughter, Sangamita, to Sri Lanka, where it was planted in Anuradhapura and still flourishes today. This act ensured that the lineage of this sacred tree would survive, a detail that becomes crucial later in our story. Over the next 1,000 years, Bodh Gaya flourished under the patronage of successive dynasties like the Shungas Kushans, and especially the Guptas. The site saw continuous development. The Gupta period, often called the Golden Age of India, was particularly significant. It was during this time, around the 5th or 6th century CE, that the original modest temple built by Ashoka was replaced by the magnificent Mahabodhi Temple that we see the basic structure of today. This grand pyramidal tower, standing nearly 180 feet tall, became a beacon for Buddhists across Asia. It was a masterpiece of Indian brick architecture, adorned with intricate carvings and niches holding Buddha images. Pilgrims from all over the Buddhist world, including the famous Chinese monks Faxian and Xuanzang, visited Bodh Gaya. Their detailed travelogues provide invaluable insights into what the complex looked like in its heyday. Xuanzang, who visited in the 7th century, described a sprawling monastic complex with thousands of monks, towering structures, and a vibrant atmosphere of study and devotion. He described the Mahabodhi Temple as being surrounded by a high wall, with the sacred tree, the diamond throne, and numerous stupas and viharas inside. His writings helped to solidify Bodh Gaya's importance throughout East Asia. However, this golden era was not to last forever. Starting around the 12th century, a series of invasions by Turkic armies led to the decline of Buddhism in its Indian homeland. Monasteries were destroyed, libraries were burned, and monks were either killed or forced to flee. Bodh Gaya, too, suffered this fate. The Mahabodhi Temple was attacked and largely abandoned. Over the centuries, it fell into ruin, buried under layers of sand and debris, forgotten by all but a handful of local people. The sacred site, once the spiritual heart of a global faith, was reclaimed by the jungle. For nearly 600 years, the temple remained in a state of neglect. Then, in the late 19th century, a remarkable revival began. The British, who are now ruling India, took an archaeological interest in the site. Sir Alexander Cunningham, the first Director General of the Archaeological Survey of India, began systematic excavations in the 1880s. He and his team unearthed the temple from centuries of debris, revealing its former glory. Around the same time, a Sri Lankan Buddhist leader named Anagarika Dharmapala visited Bodh Gaya. He was heartbroken to see the holiest site of Buddhism in such a dilapidated and neglected state, under the control of a local Hindu monastic order. Dharmapala launched a global movement, the Mahabodhi Society, in 1891, with the single-minded goal of restoring the temple to Buddhist control and reviving it as a living center of worship. It was a long and difficult legal and political battle, but his tireless efforts ignited a renewed interest in Bodh Gaya worldwide. Finally, in 1949, after India gained independence, the Bodh Gaya Temple Act was passed. This act created a temple management committee with both Buddhist and Hindu members to oversee the site. Today, Bodh Gaya is a bustling, vibrant, and truly international spiritual hub. In 2002, the Mahabodhi Temple complex was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site, recognizing its universal importance. As you walk through the complex, you hear a symphony of chants in dozens of languages. You'll see monks in the crimson robes of Tibet, the saffron of Thailand, the gray of Korea, and the brown of Japan, all circumambulating the great temple. Many countries have built their own beautiful monasteries and temples in Bodh Gaya, each reflecting their unique architectural style, creating a global village of faith. At the heart of it all remains the majestic Mahabodhi Temple, and to its west, a direct descendant of the original Bodhi tree. This tree grew from a sapling brought back from the one in Sri Lanka, which itself came from the original tree, creating an unbroken chain stretching back to the Buddhist time. Underneath it, pilgrims sit in silent meditation, connecting to the same powerful energy that Siddhartha Gautama tapped into 2,600 years ago. The history of Bodh Gaya is a story of profound insight, imperial patronage, devastating decline, and incredible resurrection. It is a testament to the enduring power of the Buddha's teachings. From a simple grove to a forgotten ruin, and now to a global beacon of peace, Bodh Gaya reminds us that even after the darkest of times, light, wisdom, and awakening can flourish once more. Thank you for joining me on this journey through time. If you found this story inspiring, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next adventure. What historical place should we explore next? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, keep exploring.